Hello there, guys. I am the CHALL, and today Chall chats the FA Cup. Shrewsbury Town 0, Wrexham 1. That was the early afternoon kickoff today in the FA Cup. A bit late this review, but we've moved down here this evening just to conduct the video. We were talking about some of the highlights, some of the key players from both teams, and just share my overall thoughts on this one. There is another review coming from this evening, very late night one tonight, potentially into the next morning from the NBA. So stay tuned for some basketball review. We've got obviously Wigan versus United coming tomorrow night as well. So that'll be another late one. So stay tuned for that one. And we've also got the Euro Cup basketball game coming up on the Tuesday evening. So stay tuned for that one. But before we get started, if you are new around here, please do like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell, name this YouTube video. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers and 500,000 views as well. So the subscribers are really rapidly moving at the moment. So let's get that as soon as possible, please. Let's get as many attention as possible on this sports media network. And for now, guys, let's get straight into this one then. So a physical altercation involving Shrewsbury and Wrexham. It definitely had its edgy moments. Definitely had its S-housery, as some people call it, in football. I thought Shrewsbury were the more impressive team to watch, but in terms of taking your chances, Wrexham did that. I think that Wrexham were strong, they were edgy, they fought off the attacks very well from Shrewsbury defensively. I thought defensively they were quite solid. But in all honesty, it was kind of half and half in a way, because on the one hand, they defended what they need to defend, but on the other hand, they also played themselves into trouble quite a bit in that game, and they were quite cautious at the back. You could see that a few times in the game, playing it around the back, and Shrewsbury pressing sometimes as well. And they were very alarming in terms of the way they played out from the back and continued to do so despite the pressure from Shrewsbury. But Wrexham held firm. They kept it controlled. They kept their hold on it, and they played their way out of it. And you know they delivered on that. I did write down some notes from both halves just to kind of look back on, just to remind me. I mean, just a few moments. I mean, one example from the bat was an incident involving Max Cleworth around the 15-minute mark. Again, that was just the first of just many moments when Wrexham were very cautious at the back. You know, they were very, alarming in terms of how they play out and how they build from the back as well, because you could tell with Shrewsbury's pace a lot of the time, especially down the wings. They were really alert to what Wrexham were doing around the back. So I thought that was quite alarming. But like I said, Wrexham held firm and they tried to do their best going forward after that as well. Shout out to Andy Cannon in the midfield. I felt like he misplaced quite a few passes in the first half, but he improved on that in the second half, and he definitely came out with a lot more edge in that second half. Yeah, for me, like I said, with Wrexham, they weren't the most impressive out of the two teams to watch, but what they did do was they put some good balls in. They got some good chances off. Shrewsbury had some good chances off as well. But overall, for me, I think Wrexham just ended up doing the job. Shout out especially to Mal Benning for Shrewsbury. I think he's Shrewsbury man of the match. I think he just had a fantastic game. You could see it down that channel, what he can do. And I feel like Mal has this pace, this directness, this kind of aggressiveness in the attack, where he's quite forceful down the channels. And I could see that there was a particular moment in the second half where he sort of came through with a lot of drive and a lot of intensity, used kind of the outside of his foot, and it kind of swerved onto the bar. That right there's the example of the attacking nature of Mal Benning, and for me, he's a really attack-minded wing-sided player in the defensive. And for me, I think Benning's got a bright sort of future as an experienced player in this game. Even as an experienced player, he's got still some way to go. You know, he's approaching those kind of prime years. So I think Benning's got a real opportunity to keep progressing and keep moving forward with Shrewsbury, because Benning just showed today exactly why he should be starting week in, week out in League One if he didn't already. but I'm sure he does. I think Benning's a pretty good player. Going into the second half, then obviously there were, sort of individual moments. I mean, Terry Perry flying over the bar at the start of the second half, but then the Wrexham goal. Great interchange of play from Wrexham, ending with Thomas O'Connor. It looked like Morosi got a slice of a glove on it, but it just didn't come off for Morosi. And obviously, ex-Rovers keeper, so obviously it was gutting to see Morosi lose that clean sheet. But overall, Shrewsbury tried, but they just couldn't get that equaliser. And Wrexham came away with the win. And they are, of course, through to round 4 with quite a few other teams, Maidstone being one of them, beating Stevenage 1-0 this weekend. I mean, how great must that be for George Elokobi? Of course, the draw is tomorrow, so it's going to be very interesting indeed to see who gets who. I'd love for someone like a Maidstone to get a TV coverage draw in the 4th round. That'd be fantastic for Maidstone. Obviously, games like Luton Bolton go to a replay, so Bolton will host Luton in the replay, so that's going to be a very interesting game as well. Blackpool will host Nottingham Forest in their replay after a 2-2 draw at the City Ground today. I mean, there's some great games coming up, some great replays coming up as well. So very, very interesting stuff there. So there we go. Overall, like I said, Wrexham deserved the result in terms of taking their chances, but Shrewsbury were the more impressive team to watch. And if they can just improve in that final third and just improve in some of their chance creation, I think they'll be in a safer position going forward, especially with their manager at the helm. But Wrexham, they march on. They absolutely march on. You could tell Wrexham had some quality players on that pitch. I thought Tozer leading the line at the back was solid. I thought the back, like I said, the back line was solid overall because they kept out Shrewsbury for the majority of for all the time. But they had their ropey moments at the back early on, and there was other moments throughout the game where they were kind of ropey around the back and playing out from the back. But they kept it solid. They kept the clean sheet and they got the win. So overall, pretty solid. Again, I thought the midfield, like I said, I felt like Cannon had his passing problems, but improved in that in the second half. I think that George Evans was solid for that, really linked up the play, really linked everything together between defence and attack. And, people like George Evans were really crucial into linking up the play to create these kind of chances for Wrexham. So I think Wrexham did deserve their place in the end because, of course, they took their chances and Shrewsbury didn't. And they kept Shrewsbury out pretty solidly in the end. But there we go. So obviously one more review coming tonight, and that is from the Cavaliers-Spurs game in Cleveland for the NBA. So if you're a basketball fan, then stay tuned for that one. We've got a preview from Noah Magaro George from the Spurs side of it. So go and check out that review when it comes out. More FA Cup action coming up tomorrow with Wigan Athletic versus Manchester United over in Wigan. So stay tuned for that. Euro Cup basketball action between Hapoel Tel Aviv and the London Lions on the Tuesday. And then on the Saturday, it will be Doncaster Rovers versus Newport County with a matchday vlog and a matchday review. So stay tuned next weekend for that one. But there we go, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching the first of 2 reviews tonight. I am the CHALL. Ta-ra for now. Time to get my NBA head on.